Go back now to the fallout from this email and how the Democratic Party is responding to it. A trove of emails hacked from the DNC and posted on WikiLeaks is creating fresh scrutiny about whether the DNC was pushing for Hillary Clinton. Now, it is not known how WikiLeaks obtained the emails. The Clinton campaign says the DNC was hacked and that there's further evidence that the Russian government is trying to influence the outcome of the election. Joining me now is Nina Turner. She's an MSNBC contributor, former state senator of Ohio, and a Bernie Sanders supporter. Nina, welcome.
Thank you.
First, what's your reaction to these emails?
Outraged, disappointed, and it doesn't matter necessarily that it was the Russians. It could have been the men from Mars. The fact of the matter is it shows that there is a culture within the DNC that must be corrected starting from the bottom to the top, that there was deliberate intention within the DNC to stop Senator Bernie Sanders from having a fair chance to win and to compete in this election. And this is bigger than Senator Sanders, Stephanie. This is about any candidate, especially an insurgent-type candidate, and whether or not the DNC is going to be a fair arbiter before that candidate, before we have an actual candidate. It is very clear through those emails that they were not.
Well, could one make the argument the DNC can and should support the candidate who most represents their platform, their party? And Bernie Sanders, he himself has called himself a socialist. He's run as an independent. So couldn't one say Hillary Clinton did represent what the DNC wanted to do?
He ran as a Democrat. He has voted over 98% of the time in his time in Congress as a Democrat. He's caucused with the Democrats. He was the chairman, as you know, of the Veterans Affairs Committee. You know, as Shakespeare once said, what's in the name? A rose by any other name smells just as sweet. Senator Bernie Sanders, in many cases, if you just look at his record, not what he labels himself, but his record, has been more of a Democrat than many Democrats. So again, they promised to be fair and impartial, and what those emails show is that they were not. Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz needs to go, and so should everybody else. They need to clean house and create a new culture in the Democratic Party.
If they want to clean, if you think they need to clean house,
yes,
shouldn't or isn't your goal also, though, for a Democrat to win the election? If pushing Debbie Wasserman Schultz and everybody else in that camp out, doesn't that help Donald Trump?
Well, how do we win if people have lost confidence, Stephanie? This is about confidence in my party. I've lost confidence. Other people, I was just at a convention right here called the People's Convention in Philadelphia, and there were hundreds of people there having this kind of omnipartisan, platform that they're trying to create, that all people come together regardless of what party they're affiliated with. But one of the things they talked about is the fact that how can they believe in the Democratic Party knowing that most of what Senator Sanders was saying, most of what his campaign was saying, and more importantly, most of what the people who support him were saying is absolutely true. We can't take our eye out of the ball. It's easy to blame the Russians. This is not about the Russians.
I understand your feelings and your intent, but what happens if Donald Trump takes the content of what you're saying to me right now and that turns into an anti-Hillary advertisement?
Listen, whatever they're going to say against the secretary, they're going to say. It has nothing to do with what happened at the DNC. And I would hope that the secretary and her team feels the same way in terms of wanting the strength and the integrity of what is called the Democratic Party intact and wanting millions of people to believe and to come over. How are we going to win over independents to vote for her? How are we going to win over moderate Republicans to vote for her if people can't have confidence that the DNC is going to be an impartial arbiter? And I'm going to tell you something, Stephanie. The worst of this so far that I've read is really how they tried to malign Senator Sanders in terms of his religion.
Did you read the email? I haven't seen the emails.
I've read some of them. I have not read all of them.
What did you read in them? Because for me, I just want to get smarter. I want to be more informed.
Well, you are.
I want to be more informed.
Fabulous.
So when we
thank you. Know this.
Thank you.
But
how bad were they?
They're scathing. The email about trying to paint him as an atheist, trying to say that he's not Jewish in terms of religion, and how that might play in the southern parts of this country. It reminded me of what the Republicans tried to do to our president when they tried to paint him as a Muslim. Now, it shouldn't matter what his religion is. This is America. But they knew that if they did that they would take away some of his authority and his connection to the people in this country. They tried to take that away. In that same way, that email that said that if we can figure out whether or not he's an atheist or a Jew, and we can use that in the southern parts of the state, despicable.
All Hillary Clinton's camp has done thus far, as you said, is talked about how the hack may have happened, possibly blaming it on Russians.
Yes.
If Hillary Clinton does not take a stronger stance against the DNC, Could she lose your support as a voter and Bernie Sanders supporters who are really up in the air?
It's not just about me. I'm one vote. You know,
every vote counts.
Every vote counts. Every vote counts. This is not a. This is about the people, and I do believe that they can lose some credibility. We can't pretend that this didn't happen. We have to address this head on. Senator Sanders has to address it, and I believe that the Secretary has to address it to win people over.
Enough credibility that they'll then vote for Trump?
Or not vote in that area, or vote for one of the third-party candidates.
All right, then. Nina Turner, thanks for joining me this morning here in Philadelphia. We got to move on, though, and talk